Okay, the topic is schedule line categories. Schedule line categories. What is a schedule line category? We have talked about document types like OR, GOR, UT, IN, which control the document in general. Controls how the document in general behaves. You can also call it as controlling the header, because most of the properties that it controls is in the header of the sales document. So what controls the line item? Item category. Right? So if you take an item category, example, we have talked about TAN, TAP, TAD, one for service, one for bill of materials, one for standard, so on and so forth. They control how the line item behaves. Okay, so we have a header here. Take different color. So header here. We have line item here. Then what's left out? We are left out with schedule lines. These are the three main components of a sales document. Remember? Header, item level, schedule lines. If you want a refresher, go back to sales order deep dive class. That class, the very beginning, I talk about the structure of the sales document. There is a header, there are line items, there are schedule lines. That's how we have defined a sales document. Now, in the schedule lines, there are some examples like CP, CL, so on and so forth. We're going to talk about it in a bit. Okay? But they, as usual, control how the schedule line behaves. Okay? So, this controls the schedule line. Now, if you don't remember what a schedule line is, let me talk about that here. So, what is a schedule line? This is just a refresher for the sales order deep dive class. We have already talked about it, but we'll talk about it again here. What is a schedule line? A schedule line, in plain English, is a schedule of the delivery. So let's talk about the business scenario. Here is software. He wants, he goes to Dell.com, let's say, okay, and he is looking at configuring a computer. So he has configured a computer. So as soon as the configuration is done, or even in the midst of the configuration, for example, if he selects some parts that are not readily available, as soon as he selects it, there will be a warning that says, hey, this part is going to delay the shipment of this by 5 days. Anybody has observed it? Sapnar, have you observed it?
Yeah, many times.
Right? Why did that happen? because the part is really not available, right?
And it's a part of the one package, unless if the product is coming into different packages, then price is you want them together or separately.
Right. But when you buy a PC, typically you want to have that, inbuilt into it. Let's say you're asking for a special graphics card, which is readily not available, but Dell has to procure it, and procurement of it will take some time.
Right.
But you want all the computer to come together, right?
Right.
So, because of some part, your shipment might be delayed. Or, there are situations where the company itself doesn't manufacture anything. It procures. In which case, there will obviously be delays. Or, it need not even be called a delay. When you order something, there will be a date by which they can deliver it. Okay? Now, software, has what is called a requested delivery date. In the case of Dell, it's not very relevant. You just go by what Dell says. Because you don't have a date. You don't say, I want it by tomorrow. But generally in B2B businesses, the customer will specify a date. Okay, I want these goods because they have a business to run probably. So if a tailor is ordering for some material, like clothing material, they want to do something with it, maybe stitch a suit or stitch a gown. And they have a purpose behind it. They have to do some business for that, based on that material. So they will specify a date. I need this suiting material or clothing material by, let's say, the 10th of October. Okay. Today is, let's say, the 3rd of October. Okay. So they'll specify that they need the goods by the 10th of October. So today is when BA01 is happening. Order. So OR order, customer SAP, line item 10, some material, whatever be the material, and quantity 110, whatever. So this is header controlled by document type. This is line item controlled by item category. And as soon as you enter this line item and hit enter, the pricing and everything for that line item will be determined. And if you go to the line item level details and go to the schedule line tab of the line item, there you will see schedule line level information, which will say, okay, let's say you have specified a quantity of 15. Okay, 15 is the quantity that has been asked on what is the date on which it has been asked, 10th October. So, for 10th October, the quantity requested by Sardar is 15. The quantity requested. Then, there is a column called quantity confirmed. So, can you as a company, or can I as a company confirm the 15 quantity that Sardar has asked by the 10th of October? That would depend on what? The available stock quantity. Okay, so there is a separate chapter on it called scheduling availability check, which is going to talk about how the system confirms the quantity by a certain date based on material availability, scheduling, which talks about many other things. Let's not worry about that. Can I confirm it? Maybe not. I don't have that specific piece of material that SAP is requesting. So I'll say no. If I have it, I'll just put 15 here and be done with it. If I have it available and I can deliver the goods to South Dar's location by the 10th of October, I'll just put 15 here. If I don't have it, however, what's going to happen is a new schedule line will be created, putting 0 here, which means this is not confirmed, and a new schedule line is going to have a different date, which could be, let's say, 20th of October, by which time I know as a system that I can procure the material, pick the material, pack the material, send it in a truck, and the truck is going to reach Sardar's place by 20th of October. Quantity requested is 15, of course, same quantity. Quantity confirmed is 15. That seals the deal. So by looking at the order, looking at the line items, schedule line, anybody can understand that, oh, what is the history behind this line item? Somebody has asked for a quantity of 15 to be delivered by 10th of October, but could not be done. And by the 20th of October, the system has promised the 15 quantity. This is the history of what happened behind that line item. Okay? It's based on availability check and scheduling and many other things. Let's not worry about how that is done. But what is being done should be understood at this point. Okay? Now that we see how the schedule lines are being created, now we need to go into the properties of schedule lines. This right onto the right of it, we'll have what is called as a schedule line category. So you'll have CN or CP or we'll have these two character alphanumeric ID called schedule line category. Just like the way you have item categories, 3 characters, TAN, TAB, TAS, TAD. Like that we have schedule line categories. They are 2 characters, CN, CP, CS, and they are called schedule line categories. 2 characters only, that's the limit on it. Okay. Now, what is a schedule line category? What does it control? Why do we need to have an item category here, like a schedule line category? What is the purpose? Let's talk about that here. So, controls behind a schedule line category. What are the controls? What are the main things that a schedule line category controls? There are 5 to 6 controls. That's about it. Item schedule line category is not as big as item category or document type. Let me quickly log on and then I'll show you all the 6 controls. And then we're going to talk about all of those controls. Just a reminder here, what is VOV8?
Is document type.
Sales document type configuration. Okay. What is VOV7? Item category configuration. So, what does your mind say about VOV6?
Schedule and configuration.
Very good. Okay. Just along the same lines, if you want to extend it a little bit, because we have already gone through some other determinations also. What is VOV4?
Assigning the item categories.
Yes, item category determination. Okay. Now, what does your mind say about VOV5?
Schedule category.
Okay, these are the shortcuts. You don't have to remember them. It's not necessary. It's not necessary at all. Okay? Nobody's going to ask you these. But since you'll be doing sales document types, item categories, schedule lines, and their corresponding determinations, so often when you're setting up the system, at least in the initial part of it, this one is going to help you a lot. If not a big deal. It's not going to hurt you. Okay? Now, what are the controls? Right? We are talking about the controls of the schedule and category controls. What are the major controls? VOV6, SLCP, CN. These are the item categories. Just go to one of them, click on configure, and these are the controls. Okay? Now, what are the important controls? The important controls are: 1. Delivery block. 2. Movement type. 3. All these things together. Okay? Then 4. Requirements. 5. Okay? 6, this one is optional, but don't worry. These 5 different controls are important in a scheduling category. Let's talk about one by one. What is a delivery block? Where else have we seen the configuration about delivery blocks?
Document type level, item category level.
Very good, very good. So we have seen the configuration of delivery document type. So in delivery document type there is a block, in item category there is a block. So what is the difference between the different blocks at sales document level or item category level or scheduling level? Why there are so many blocks?
It's like walking out from Best Buy on Christmas Eve. You have to go through security check 1, security check 2, security check 3.
Okay. Higher level security check is document type. In document type, there is a delivery block. What does this do? Blocks delivery of entire order. Now, in item category, there is a delivery block. Is there a delivery block here? there is no delivery block in an item category. Schedule line category. There is a delivery block. Okay. What does this delivery block do? Blocks line item. This is a little tricky because one would naturally tend to think that it is a delivery block here and that blocks the line item. But no. Blocking at the line item in terms of delivery happens at the schedule line category level. Okay. And the purpose of it is very simple. You have a different schedule line category. It has a block. Every time that schedule line category is determined, the item will be blocked. As simple as that. No confusion there. Okay? What block to happen will be configured. Right? What block should it happen? That particular block can be configured. Okay? The next one is movement type. Let's talk about movement type. What is movement type? Movement type. So this is not your typical SD thing. You don't have to worry too much about what movement type is, what goes on behind it, so on and so forth. It's not relevant for us. But we should understand what a movement type is. Movement type, first thing, is not configured by SD. It's configured by MM consultant. So in terms of configuration, you don't have to worry about how to configure movement type, where to configure movement type, so on and so forth. So that part is out of the way. So why am I worrying about movement type? Because I have to configure it here. I have to put that movement type in here. So let's understand what a movement type is. A movement type represents a change in value from a company's perspective. Okay? It represents a change in value. That's a very generic statement. Change in value. What the hell does it really mean? I'll give you some examples. A change in value could happen because of a variety of reasons. For example, there is an order, there is a delivery, and the delivery has been picked, packed, loaded, and the truck is gone. Still, from a systems perspective, goods is still there in the system until you do what? What do you have to do in order to really change the inventory value?
PGI.
PGA. So when you do PGA, what is happening? The accounting is affected. How is it affected? What are the accounts? Cost of goods sold, inventory. Inventory goes down, cost of goods sold goes up. Something has to go down and something has to go up. So this is, I'm calling it a change in value. Some change in value is happening for that inventory. But up until that point, no change. It is picked, it is moved from here to here, it is packed, it is loaded. There is a lot of things happening physically to that material. But it doesn't matter. Is there a change in value? No change in value. It's still the same material, same value. Whether it is picked, packed, no problem. Same, the material is worth the same. No change from our accounts perspective, from the company's accounts perspective. But once it's PGI, that's when we are especially instructing the system and saying, hey, the goods are gone, erase it from your inventory. So the goods, value of the goods have been converted to sales. So there is a change in value. The inventory has gone down and the cost of goods sold, which is the value of goods that has been sold, has gone up. Okay? This is an example that we all know. Productivity. Well, let's take some examples, other examples. Okay? Again, which represents a change in value. Example. Think of an industry like the food processing industry, okay, where food could be rotten and you have to throw it away. Like if you take a company like Cisco, or if you take a company, any other food processing, Tyson Foods or Kraft Foods. If a value of a raw material, let's say there is some chicken lying over there, okay, it has got some expiry date, but which is, let's say, 3 days from now. But there is a heavy storm in New York and trucks are not able to move. What do you do with the chicken? Yeah, you can put it in the cold storage, but let's say it expires in 3 days, irrespective of the condition, unless it reaches the customer. Let's say it's fresh chicken. 3 days have happened, trucks cannot move. What do you do? What do you do with this chicken? Sell it?
Garbage.
Garbage. Garbage, garbage, garbage. And this chicken, let's say, is worth $1 million. It's not one chicken, it's a whole ton of chicken. It goes into garbage. The value of the garbage, of the chicken, changed from $1 million to how much? Zero. So can anybody just throw the chicken, $1 million worth of chicken into garbage? Just like that? Without any, without any proper accounting? Of course not. It has to be properly accounted for. How to be accounted? There will be a special movement type, 5 something. It's a 3-character number, movement type, always. Okay? 3-digit number, always. What that number is, doesn't matter. So they'll use that movement type, put this inventory from chicken to garbage. There is a special movement type to throw chicken into garbage, to junk material. So what happens when you really do it? Inventory goes down and wastage account. Because it's not cost of goods sold. We have not sold anything. We have wasted it. So wastage account goes up. So why don't we just change the accounts instead of talking about this new concept called movement type? Because the person in the warehouse is doing this action. He is throwing away the chicken into the garbage. He doesn't know accounting. He doesn't know what is inventory account, what is wastage account. He is not an intelligent guy. He doesn't need to bother about accounting. It's not his job. So this is the missing link between accounting and goods movement. So all the person over in the warehouse has to know is the right code, this 3-digit code to use in order to junk some material. Now this is an extreme example. What if there is an example where Philips warehouse or Samsung warehouse, there is a TV, plasma TV, very delicate. Somebody is transporting it via the forklift, and then suddenly, because of some human error, the plasma TV gets dropped onto the floor. Once you drop plasma TV, it's as good as garbage because it's very sensitive. All the pixels will be gone. So that particular one plasma TV, which costs, let's say, $1,000, goes into garbage. Now, the person in the warehouse has to do something there. What does he have to do? Okay, this is a human error. So they have to use certain movement type and junk this plasma TV. What is really happening behind the scenes? This movement type will be configured by consultant in such a way that whenever somebody uses this movement type, the following accounts will be affected. Inventory goes down, garbage account goes up, or wastage account goes up. That's it. So the person doing this action of using the movement type to junk that particular material doesn't need to know about accounts. All he needs to understand is that code. What code to use for wastage? What code to use for certain other type of movement, whatever it is. We have seen two examples. One is wastage. One is the PGI. There can be many other examples where there is a change in value. Some stock transfer is happening intra-company. Example, there is a plant in US. There is a plant in Canada. This is the plant, right? There is a plant here. There is a plant here. I can draw that picture. Now, because of some situation, there is a weather problem in Canada, let's say. So there is, because of that, but there is a request for goods. Because of that, some goods are being transferred from US to Canada. It's the same company, but different company codes, one in US and one in Canada from a legal perspective. Because the goods are transferred, this is a different company, this is a different company. I mean, in terms of paper, in paper, or rather on paper. So they have to have the respective accounting. So when the goods are transferred, this company is called intercompany stock transfer. Now, is it as simple as just sending out the goods? No. There needs to be PGI that happens here. There needs to be AGR that happens here. There needs to be an invoice that is raised by this company to this company, and this company will have to pay for it. This company has to invoice receipt it and then pay for the goods. It's like a regular sale. Only thing is, it doesn't happen at list price. It happens at cost price. That's why you maintain the cost price in the material master. Now, with relevant to our movement type, here, what movement type will be used? Some movement type has to be used because goods have left the warehouse of US company. Well, inventory, yes, inventory has gone down from this company. Is it the cost of goods sold? Maybe not. There is a special account defined here called intercompany account, where all the intercompany accounting will be settled. That account will go up. Because the scenario here is not a sale. It's an intercompany transfer of goods. So it's not cost of goods sold. It's cost of goods transferred between intercompany. These three scenarios, try and remember. There are many other scenarios, probably close to 900 different movement types. Not all of them are relevant for us at this point. But you understand the picture, right? Whenever there is a change in the value of goods, it needs to be documented in the system and accounted for using regular GL accounts. And the key to identify it is the movement type. Okay? Now the definition for it is not very straightforward because we don't need to understand the definition in its entire sense or rather in its true sense. But understand generally what's happening behind the scenes. That's more than enough. Because like I said, we are not a MM consultant. We don't need to configure movement type. We just need to understand what the movement type is. That's it. Okay? Now, when you do a PGI, the movement type is used. So there is an order. Okay, let me change the color. There is an order, or there is an item category, and there is a scheduling category, CP. So CP, we have assigned a movement type, let's say 601, right? To CP, we have assigned 601. 601. Okay? Now we are trying to deliver this. So where is the 601 used? We know that its movement type is associated to a scheduling category. But where is it used? Let's do an experiment. I'm creating an order. Standard order, simple order. Okay? Now what is the schedule line? CP. How did I go to the schedule line? Go to the line item and click on this button. Or you can just double click on the line item and go to the schedule line step. As simple as that. Now what is the schedule line category for this line item? CE. Okay. It's confirmed for 10:15. So let's try and deliver this. Okay. We know this problem and the solution to it. Okay. Let's do the picking. Okay. Don't worry, I'm doing too many steps here, but these are steps that you already know. How to do the picking? You have to create a transfer order because it's relevant for warehouse movements. So these are steps that you already know. I'm opening the delivery again in change mode and see that the goods have been picked. Now, all you need to do is do PGI. So let's do the PGI and see what happens. Still doing it. PGI is done. Now, let's go to the delivery in change or display mode and look at the document flow. This is the delivery. Sorry, this is the goods issue document. So go there and click on display document. You look at the movement type here. It's 601. Now, do you understand the point? We have created an order with a particular item category and schedule line. We are trying to deliver it. In delivery, we have picked it, tagged it if necessary, and we have done PGI. And PGI uses this movement type. This is where the movement type that you have configured in the schedule line kicks in. The movement type that you have configured in the schedule line category is used when the corresponding delivery is PGI. That's when the change of value is happening. And that's when this particular movement type is used. This is how movement type, as you configure and schedule in categories, is used. Any questions here? No questions? Hey, you guys are there? Did I lose you?
Great explanation. Really here.
You guys here, right? Okay, thank you. So that is the first thing, movement type. And what is the other thing that we talked about? VOV6. CP. CP. CP is the standard. So we have talked about this, we have talked about this. And then we are going to talk about order type, item category, and account assignment category. You don't need to really worry about these three because, again, this will be given to us by the MM consultant. But we have to understand that this is not a sales order type. This is a purchase order type. So what's really happening here? So let's go create a new page and then understand this. This scenario is called third-party dropship. What is a third-party dropship? Again, let's consider a scenario. There is a order coming in the US company code, but that product is not there. What do? You can just say, okay, that's not there, we'll get it for you in 10 days. The customer needs that material right now. He's saying, okay, then I don't need the order, I'll go and place the order somewhere else. But you might not want to lose the customer. You'll say, okay, no worries. If you give me 2 days, I'll deliver it somehow. That's a promise. Or 3 days, let's say. Okay, today is the 3rd. I'll get it delivered to you by 6th. But you don't have the material. What do you do? But you are in that industry, right? So you know a lot of vendors who will supply that material. So you'll say, immediately, you'll make a bunch of phone calls. Vendor 1, vendor 2, vendor 3. Okay, who has the material right now? Let's say this guy has that material. So he'll say, okay, I have that material, I can ship it over to you. I'll say, no. Don't ship it to me, but ship it to some other address. It doesn't say it's the customer. They will say, okay, ship it to some other address. Okay, give me the address. So he'll take the address from here and pass on that address. He'll take the address from here, pass on the address here, and this guy will ship it directly to this customer. Now look at what is happening. This guy is the third party vendor. And he is dropping the shipment directly to the customer. That's called drop ship. It's a general common industry standard term. Third party drop ship means, or you can just call it drop ship also. Meaning the vendor is going to drop the shipment directly to the customer. So what is the order to cash change here? For this order, from our company's perspective, there is OR, there is LF, and there is F2. This is our standard cycle, right? Order will be created for line item 10, some material. Is there a delivery happening? No. No delivery, right? Directly, we are going to bill the customer. Who is going to do the delivery? The vendor is going to create the date and ship it to the customer. But we don't care about it. As long as it reaches the customer, we don't care. But we don't need to explicitly create a delivery. How is this scenario configured? Very simple. At the line item level, instead of TAN, you have to put what is called as TAS. TAS. TAS is called the third party dropship item category. TAS item category will automatically determine an item category not of CP but of CS. And CS is configured like how? You go to CS. CS doesn't have a movement type. What does it mean? It means that for this scheduling category, no movement type is relevant. That means you cannot really do a movement type using a delivery for this scheduling category. And hence, this can only be used for third party. But there is something else here that is relevant. It's called order type. So let's create an order. For that line item, M01, quantity 1. But if we don't have the quantity, what did I say? Change it from and to dash. Okay, don't worry about the screen. Okay, from task to task, save it. Now let's go behind the scenes, open the order and see what has been really done by SAP because of the change in item category. Okay, opening the order again, go into line item 10, go into the schedule lines. Because of task, our schedule line category has been changed to CS. And CS has triggered what's called a purchase requisition. What is a purchase requisition? CS has triggered a purchase requisition. It's also called PREC. The purchase requisition is a requisition to raise a purchase order. And purchase requisition will be converted to purchase order by whom? Either MRP department or the purchasing department. They will convert it into a PO. The PO will go to a vendor. And the vendor will drop ship the goods to the customer. That's the configuration behind a third-party dropship. As simple as that. It's plug and play. But you have to understand what's happening. The scenario is very simple. The configuration is also simple. But you have to understand how the linkage is happening. Okay? Now, this PO that is created, what PO is created? The PO will also have a purchase order type, just like the way you have sales order type, OR, GOR, QT. There is a purchase order type. That purchase order type is what NB stands for. NB is actually a purchase order type. It's not a sales order type, it's a purchase order type. Although the wording here says order type, it's not a sales order type, it's a purchase order type. What item category to use, what account assignment category to use will just be borrowed from the MM consultant and plugged in here, period. So we don't have to worry about this particular order type, this particular item category, this particular account assignment category. Not relevant. We borrow from there, plug it in. You ask the MM consultant, okay, we have to configure this third party, what order type should we use? Maybe he doesn't give you NB, he gives you ZNB. So you just use it. Any questions here on third party?
So this CS is just a standard by the SAP. However, in the environment for us, we have to create something custom, ZSM or ZSGS.
Yes, correct.
And then same thing, the order type in this case NB for the purchase rec. There could be a bunch of other type of purchase request rec document besides the NB.
Okay. Then the MM consultant will give you the right purchase order type to use. Okay. That is that. And moving on. The next piece of control is this guy. Oops, sorry. Requirement and assembly. Don't worry about assembly. So let's look at requirement. What is a requirement? Requirements stands for, the word requirement here stands for the much broader term EOR, or it's also called transfer of requirement. What is the requirement and why is it transferred? Where is it transferred to? Now to understand that, let's consider some basics of MRP here. MRP is a very big concept that consultants study. We don't have to study anything about MRP, but just to get an overall picture, MRP stands for Material Requirement Planning. So how much material needs to be prepared, when it needs to be prepared, why that material needs to be prepared. Why does any company prepare or manufacture materials? Because there is a demand for it. Because there is a requirement for it. So the requirement needs to be documented. Where does the requirement for a material come from? Sales. So some customer is asking for a particular material via a sales order. So that input goes to MRP automatically behind the scenes. And historic sales report, that input also goes to MRP. For example, let's say Apple is launching iPhone, what is the current version? 5. It was launched like 2 weeks ago. When iPhone 5 was launched, how many iPhones should they manufacture per month? How many iPhones should they manufacture per month? They should have some kind of an estimate, right? They can't manufacture 100 million iPhones. At the same time, they cannot afford to just manufacture 1,000 of them. There needs to be some reasonable number that they have to manufacture. How would they get that? They get it from historic sales. Okay, iPhone 4S. How many did we manufacture? At the launch, we manufactured 3 million of them. Okay, let's add 25% to it and maybe manufacture 3.5 million of them or 4 million of them. This for the launch. But going forward, on a day-to-day basis, how many should we manufacture per month? Let's say next January, next February, if they are doing the planning, how many should they manufacture? Maybe not as many as 4 million, maybe 1 million a month. How many is dependent on how much sales. They cannot just keep manufacturing 1 million a month based on historic. They have to also consider how much is the inbound sales. Okay. For the total of last month, there was only 0.75 million on sales. Oh, really? Then are we right in manufacturing 1 million? Let's see for one more month. Next month, there is only 0.65 million. Something is wrong. Maybe we need to cut down on our production. Maybe go back to 0.9 million, slowly, step by step. Now the next month, the sales surge to 0.9 million. Ooh. Why? Maybe it's the holiday season. Maybe it's the season of sales. So there are a variety of parameters that the MRP controller, it's called the MRP controller. The MRP controller has to consider in order to determine how much quantity needs to be manufactured or procured. Manufactured or procured, both of them. And the main key inputs are historic sales, current sales. Now, what are the outputs generated by MRP? 2 inputs. Mainly 2 inputs. Purchase requisitions and plan order. These are the 2 outputs generated by MRP. It doesn't generate purchase orders, you see. It doesn't generate purchase orders. It generates purchase requisitions, which is a requisition to purchase. which has to be manually converted to purchase order by a person. A person with a human intelligence has to intervene and convert that to purchase order. The purchase order will be sent to a vendor. The vendor will procure that material for us. What is a planned order? A planned order, similar to a purchase equation, is a precursor to production order. What is a production order? A production order is an instruction to the shop floor to manufacture goods. If it were Honda who manufactures their own cars, a planned order will say, okay, we need to manufacture a Honda Odyssey with these specifications. And that will be converted to a production order by some intelligent person who understands that system. So you understand the inputs in MRP, you also understand the outputs of MRP. Now, what is transfer of requirement? Every sales order transfers requirements transparently to MRP, meaning the user doesn't know anything about it. As soon as it's created, a requirement will be transferred to MRP. If you want to see really the transfer of requirements to MRP, I'll give you an example. Just take a VA01. Okay? 1027, some quantity. Same. 13404 is the order that has been created. Okay? Go to a transaction called MD04. Remember that transaction, MD04. This is where you can see the requirements that has been transferred to the market. Now, remember, these are in transit requirements. Well, they have just been transferred to MRP, but MRP has not taken any action. Okay? These are just transferred to MRP, but MRP has not taken any action. These are requirements, a raw list of requirements that have been transferred to MRP. When MRP has to take action on this requirement, there is a separate transaction that runs, which will look at all these requirements, analyze them, compare it with historic requirements, do a whole bunch of logic that we are not bothered about. But a list of requirements that goes to MRP from sales, from ordering, is or can be seen in the transaction MD04. That's why it's called a requirement list. A list of requirements flowing in from sales order. Okay? Here you can see what element has triggered it. Is it a delivery? Is it a purchase order? Is it this? Is it that? Okay? What element has transferred and how much did each element transfer? Some elements transfer a different amount. So this is M01, right? I'm just trying to figure out where our order is. Here. You see your order? 13404, line item 10, has triggered a quantity of 27. That's why I've given that special number so that you can easily identify 27. Means the MRP controller now knows that there is an order 13404 requiring 27 quantity. What action he wants to take? Let him take. We are not bothered. We are not bothered about how he gets the material for us. But our duty is to pass on the requirement to MRP. And this happened without the intervention of the user. And why is that happening? Because we have turned on requirements here. Just turning that on will trigger a transfer to MRP. So there are other controls that control how it should be transferred. Whether individual requirements can be transferred, collective requirements can be transferred, so on and so forth. Let's not worry too much about that at this point. But at least understand first thing, what is the requirement? Why requirement needs to be transferred to MRP? How requirements are transferred to MRP? How to see the transferred requirements to MRP? That's it. Any questions here? No questions? Then the only field left for us is availability. So availability is a much broader topic that as an SD consultant you should understand. What is availability? Availability is just verifying whether a particular amount of or particular quantity of goods is available in our warehouse for the customer or not. Now, why do you need to check it off? You can check it off in cases like CS, third party, where availability is not relevant because we know that we don't have that material. That's why we are doing CS, third party. Not relevant for availability. So there are situations where we don't do availability. There are situations where we do availability. Right? Now that we have understood these things, let's talk about a particular scenario. Okay. There is a line item 10, PC, same PC example that we all know. Okay. Quantity 1, 20 is the component monitor, 30 CPU, 40 warranty, 50 extended warranty for 3 years. Okay. This is tab, this is 10, this is 10, this is TAD, this is TAD. Now, we know how the item categories behave. This is relevant for delivery, yes. This is relevant for delivery, relevant. Not relevant, not relevant. Relevancy for billing, yes, this is relevant, this is relevant, this is relevant, this is relevant, this is relevant. Now, from a schedule and category perspective, let's talk about it. Which of them is relevant for? What are the controls here? Main controls. Document delivery block, yeah, you can place a delivery block. Movement type, you can place a movement type, whatever you like. Requirements and assembly. Let's talk about these two. Which of them are relevant for requirements? Any physical, tangible goods is relevant for requirements because warranty doesn't need to be manufactured. Extended warranty doesn't need to be manufactured. PC is a phantom part. You can't manufacture a PC. You can only manufacture a monitor, CPU. They can all be put together as a PC, depending on how the user chooses it. Right? So, in terms of requirements, PC cannot be transferred because what can you do with it? A PC, it doesn't mean anything because a PC is required. What kind of PC is required? What kind of CPU was required? You don't really know. But this can be transferred. This can be transferred because it's a monitor, it's a CPU. What about warranty? Service. No manufacturing required. So no requirements transferred. No requirements transferred. What about availability check? Do you need to do availability check on this phantom part? No, you can't really do an availability check. Monitor? Yes. CPU? Yes. Warranty? No. You cannot do an availability check on warranty. It's a service. You can just give it away. Same with extended warranty. So based on these flags, yes, no, with corresponding schedule and categories will be determined. Any questions here? That about complete schedule and category. questions?